Hi, Anaquest here. This is my recap for the anime as a reincarnated aristocrat. If you dig my recaps, don't forget to subscribe and smash that notification bell. We see an average Japanese salaryman who works all day and has no social life to speak of. He is stuck in this monotonous and soul-sucking routine until one day he straight up has a heart attack because his life is so damn empty. Next thing he knows, he opens his eyes and finds himself in some old-ass hospital, with a lady standing over him. She says he has a gentle face like his pups, but he can't make sense of what the hell is going on. Then a maid comes in and offers the lady some tea, and that's when he finally catches a glimpse of himself in the tray the maid is holding. He's been reincarnated as a baby named Ars Luvent, and by the time 3 years have passed, he has already begun to make the best of his new life here. Dude done mastered reading and writing and got some mad knowledge about this whole new world. Turns out he was born in the Summer Fourth Empire, ruling over the Summer Fourth continent. Since he ain't never seen a map like this before, he knows for sure he ain't on Earth no more. Lucky for him, he was born into a noble family called the Luvent, so he lived largely in a mega crib with his chef taking care of him. When Ars got reincarnated, he found out he had this crazy ability that nobody else ever had. Homie goes to the guards' training room and asks if he can peep at their practice. They are all cool with Ars, so they ain't see no reason to turn him down, even though it's kinda weird that a 3-year-old is so hyped about watching them fight. While he's strolling around, he notices one guard struggling with a spear. That's his chance to use his special ability called Appraisal. With that, he can see all the stats of this guard named Milas. Turns out his cavalry stat being D ain't all that impressive, but his archery stat being B is legit. So Ars figured Milas would be way better rockin' the archer role. After Milas loses his match, Ars walks up to him and asks if he ever thought about using a bow in his fights instead. Milas thinks bows are for cowards who enjoy being safe while they attack, so he'll never be caught using a weapon like that. But Ars insists that he thinks Milas would be a really good archer if he tried it out. Milas ain't one to normally agree to stuff like this, but since it's Ars asking, he gives in and decides to give it a try, at least once. Dude never even held a bow before, so he ain't feeling too confident about hitting the target. But Ars reassure him, saying he gonna be straight, so he stands in place and draws his bow to fire. The first shot is a bullseye, and Milas can hardly believe what he just managed to pull off. Just to make sure it ain't some fluke, he fires more shots, and each lands in the center, with one even splitting another arrow. After seeing what Milas can do with a bow, all the other guards tell him he should switch to an archer like Ars had said because he sucks at using a spear anyway. They are still curious about how Ars knew Milas would be a beast with the bow though. Ars can't really explain his ability, so he just calls it instinct, instead of spilling the beans about seeing folks' stats. He is confident in his ability's accuracy after testing it out, but for some reason, he can't use it on himself. Later at dinner, Ars is getting ready to chow down when his father asks if he really discovered Milas's archery talent. His father is Raven Luvent, and he has a resting grumpy face, so he always looks a little angry even when he isn't. Ars thinks his old man is a legend because he went from a farmer to nobility with just his fighting skills. The dude is so damn powerful, he could take down 10 dudes solo if he wanted. Father tells Ars to work on honing that instinct for spotting other people's talent, because one day Ars is gonna be the lord of the land. And when that day comes, being able to see folks' talent's gonna be hella valuable. He offers his plate of food to Ars, showing some love, saying he wants Ars to grow up quickly. Since that day, Ars has been reading up on the Empire and realized he gonna be straight up screwed if he doesn't change things soon. The rulers of Summer Fourth were straight up corrupt, and because of that, the peasants all over the kingdom revolted. If this keeps going, the whole empire might crumble, leading to some serious wars. As the future lord of this joint, he gonna need to lead his crew into battle, but he ain't got the confidence to say he gonna succeed in a war. So he decides he gotta get prepared for that disaster by gathering up some talented folks to have his back when that day comes. He hit the streets of the city and started using appraisal to scan the people, looking for anyone with some kind of talent. But even after searching for a hot minute and straining his eyes in the process, he still ain't found anybody useful yet. Just then, he saw a kid getting kicked out of a store and denied service by some old lady. Everybody sees what's going down, but they are all racist as hell, so they ain't trying to help out a Malkin. Malkin are the folks who came to Summerforth from across the sea, usually brought in as slaves, so people look down on them. Ars isn't going to just watch him be ostracized by the people, so he walks up to him and offers a loaf of bread that he has on hand. The kid is unsure at first, but he takes the bread, and then Ars use appraisal on him. Turns out this kid named Rate has some serious stats going on. Dude is on par with some of the dopest folks in the world, so if he gets the chance to grow, he will become a force to be reckoned with. Reitz finishes up the bread, and thanks Ars again for the kindness and bounces. But Ars ain't letting such a talented dude slip away, so he trails him till they end up in a dark alley. Reitz stops him, saying it's dumb to be following strangers in sketchy places, but Ars cuts him off and asks to make Rate his retainer. Reitz thinks he is playing, but Ars is dead serious, so he introduces himself as the Lord's son and asks once again for Reitz to join him because Ars can see he got mad talent. Reitz doesn't believe he is as talented as Ars claim, plus he knows it gonna mess with his family's rep if they take in a Malkin like him. Ars say he gonna figure something out, but Reitz still declines the offer and starts walking away. As he is leaving, Ars start chasing after him because he might never find another gifted person like Reitz again. So he switches tactics and tries to bribe him with all the bomb-ass food his family's chef can whip up. Ars bring him back to his house, and Reitz is shocked to see Ars wasn't messing about being the Lord's son. They head inside, and some mouth-watering food gets served to Ars. But even the servants here are straight-up racist, so they only give Reitz a bowl of beans and tell him he can't expect decent grub because he is a Malkin. They want him to eat them crusty-ass beans and bounce. But Ars ain't having none of that blatant disrespect toward his guest. He makes it crystal clear that Reit's gonna get treated like any other guest up in this joint. So they all apologize and hook him up with some legit food this time.
Yeah, boy!
While Reitz is grubbing on his meal, Ars asks him why he ended up on Summerforth in the first place. So he explains that he was part of a group of mercenaries before. But unfortunately, they were all killed on one of their missions. Reitz had been wandering around aimlessly since then until he stumbled upon this place. That's a heart-touching story, but the butler doesn't care in the slightest and urges Ars to make the filthy Malkin boy leave. Ars tells him that he won't be making Reitz leave anytime soon since he brought him here to have him become his official retainer. The butler thinks that's a crazy idea because his father ain't never gonna give the green light for that. And he is right because when Ars spill the beans to his pops about his plans, his old man straight up shuts it down, saying folks like Reitz just ain't on par with the people of Summerforth, so he is worthless. Even his father is racist, so Ars gotta work some magic to make him accept Reitz as a retainer. He tells his father he got a feel for Reitz's mad talent, just like he did with Millet. But even though Raven trusts his son's ability to spot talent, the people of Summerforth are all convinced that Malkin ain't capable of anything good. So they think Reitz can't possibly have that kinda insane talent Ars claim. But Ars ain't backing down, insisting that having Reitz on their side gonna be crucial for the future of their turf. So he suggests his father test Reitz to see if the talent checks out. Raven agrees to test him, and if he passes, he can start as a soldier. But the test he suggests is a straight-up duel, and Reitz gotta win to get the seal of approval. Ars is getting worried because even though Reitz got skills, his father still got a higher prowess score, so winning a fair fight gonna be tough. But lucky for them, Raven is still a decent man, so he ain't gonna go all out against a 14-year-old. He gonna give Reitz a handicap to even the playing field a bit. With them conditions, Ars think Reitz got a solid shot at coming out on top, and Reitz is cool with that, so Raven says they gonna get this duel going right away. While they are walking off so Reitz can fight Ars's father, Reitz pauses for a sec and asks why Ars is going through all this trouble to make him a retainer. The offer makes him happy, but it seems too good to be true, considering he is always getting persecuted because he is a Malkin. Ars assures him that he is putting in all this effort because Reitz means something to him. One day, Ars is gonna be the lord of the land, and when that day comes, he wants Reitz right by his side. So Reitz promises to give it his all and win. They roll up to the practice grounds, and everybody is confused as hell about what's going down. Raven asks for practice swords and an hourglass to be brought over. Once they got the gear ready, He explained that all Reitz gotta do was land one hit on him within the time limit to be declared the winner. Ars think this might work in their favor because even though Raven is the elite swordsman around, Reitz's skills should be enough to at least score one hit on him. The duel kicks off, and Raven straight up charges at Reitz with all his might. Reitz is nimble though, and manages to dodge, but he can feel that if that hit connected, it would have wrecked him, practice sword or not. Raven is stronger than him, but Reitz is still holding his own in the fight. The other soldiers are hella impressed because they couldn't keep up with Raven at all, and that was when he took it easy on them. But now, Raven is going after Reitz without holding back. Then Reitz gets smacked in the shoulder, sending him bouncing off the floor. He gets back up and looks over at Ars, who is cheering him on. That pumps him back up, and he is ready to keep the fight going. He comes at Raven with a new strategy, ducking under his strike and sneaking behind him. He uses the sun's glare as cover to mess with Raven's vision and land a hit. Raven still blocks it, but once Reitz steps back to create some space, he declares that the duel is over. Reitz looks back to make sure he hasn't run out of time, making sure there's still sand in the hourglass. That means he landed a hit on Raven, even if it was just a light tap. Everybody is straight up stunned by what Reitz pulled off, and Raven gives him props for the win. He admits Ars was right about Reitz's insane talent, and now that he saw it with his own eyes, he knows Reitz got the potential to be a top-tier swordsman in the future. Ars also has a bright future ahead of him if he is able to find such talent so easily. Raven was worried about how Ars gonna handle the craziness of the world when shit hit the fan, but now it looks like he ain't gotta worry about nothing. Ars may have managed to become the new emperor of the land. That's a little ambitious for the lord of such a small village. Reitz gained mad respect from the soldiers now that they saw what he was capable of. And a little while later, Ars swung by to check if Reitz was getting comfy in his new life here. Reitz is rocking his fresh uniform. He decided to take on servant duties too because he wanted to help out as much as he could. He also shows major gratitude to Ars for saving him from a life on the streets. To pay back that debt, he gonna stand by Ars's side from now on. A few months go by, and we find out Reitz has been chilling mostly with Ars, instead of getting in on the battlefield action. But he's been hella helpful and showing off some sick fighting skills. Reitz has been getting his knowledge game on with a ton of tutoring, and it's boosted his ingenuity stat like crazy. Now he's one of the smartest folks in the whole crew. Once the peeps in the household and the domain got to know Reitz, they straight up accepted him. The maids can't help but gossip about him, talking about how hot he is. One day, Reitz drops some history knowledge on Ars. He breaks it down that the Summer Fourth Empire was originally made up of 7 kingdoms. One of those kingdoms, Ansel, had mad power, so it straight up invaded and conquered the other 6 kingdoms. King Anathus of Ansel declared himself the emperor, and he renamed the whole damn continent the Summer Fourth Empire. But right now, the entire empire is in deep trouble. The ruler in charge is an 8-year-old kid named Bidoras, but the real power is held by his advisors, and they be beefing with each other. With weak leadership, revolts are starting to break out. They're small scale for now, but even Raven had to send troops to calm things down. This situation could blow up big time, so Ars realizes he gotta use his appraisal ability to recruit some talented peeps to his side before it goes down. Ars's family resides in this spot called Mission Territory, so he's shocked when Ars predicts that the major conflict's gonna pop off there. The governor there is old as dirt and in bad health, so it's likely he won't be around for much longer. He's got 2 sons, and they both want to inherit his position, which could straight up lead to war. Ars's dad believes the older son should take over as governor, but he doesn't have a say in which side he ends up fighting for, because he ain't directly serving the governor. Lamberg is in this district called Canar, and Raven serves as its headman. Ars is feeling pretty damn nervous because he's just a kid, and so far, the only dope prospect he's found is Reitz. Luckily, Reitz sees all this as a golden opportunity. If a lord can show off his skills in a major conflict, it can help him rise up in the world. Ars gets inspired, and they decide to level up and get stronger to increase their chances. Reitz promises to protect Ars and asks for his help in finding the right peeps to make that happen. While they're rolling into town, Ars peeps that his pops has been training more often. It's pretty clear he senses a war coming. Ars lets his pops know that he's gonna go scout for more recruits, so Raven asks him to find someone with mad magic skills. Turns out, Raven can't handle magic like a pro, and the folks who can ain't all that great either. He once asked Ars to try his hand at magic, so Ars gave it a shot using some magical device, but he was straight up trash at it. His pops never asked him again after that. But having a mage on their team would seriously amp up their forces, so Ars is hella determined to find the best magic candidate out there. They hit up the capital of the Canar district, where Ars is shocked when he finds out there's 50,000 peeps living there. Everyone's looking hella wealthy, and Ars dreams of giving his Lamberg people that kind of good life one day. Reitz is sure they'll find a dope candidate, so many people there. But Ars uses his ability for a while and can't find anyone with real potential. See, Ars's ability shows him a person's stats in numbers and aptitude ranks, but the true talent comes from a combo of both. Just having high stats without the right aptitude ain't gonna cut it. Ars starts feeling down because he can't find the right person. But Reitz reminds him there's no need to rush. As they keep exploring, Ars comes across an alley where people be living. He's straight up shocked, so Reitz schools him. Where there's wealth, there's always poverty. It's like prosperity breeds inequality or some shit. Reitz realizes Ars saved him from this kind of life, but sadly, they can't do nothing for these folks right now. Ars has a realization. See, before, he was just looking at all the fancy shit and thinking it was a good town. But in his eyes, a good town is where even the less fortunate can make something of themselves. He knows he might be naive, but he wishes he could find their next candidate from among these less fortunate peeps. Reitz doesn't think he's naive one bit, and Ars is straight up shocked when he says he's proud to be his aide. After that, they head to the biggest market in town, where someone offers Ars a dragon egg. Ars straight up can't believe dragons exist in this world, and the merchant peeps how hyped he is. So the merchant offers to hook him up with some rare eggs for just 1 silver each. Ars is all ready to drop that cash. But Reitz is mad as hell at the merchant. Ars is shocked, but Reitz knows this dude smuggled those eggs illegally because trade's been frozen with the northern continent. Plus, the size and spots on the eggs don't even look legit. And what's even more suspicious is that this merchant has a whole stash of rare dragon eggs. Reitz figures out they're actually giant lizard eggs, so he decides this merchant's punishment for embarrassing Ars should be death. Ars pleads with Reitz to stop, so Reitz apologizes for going overboard. Ars starts worrying that Reitz gonna go off like this every time he gets played, so he decides to smarten up real quick before someone ends up 6 feet under. They take a break to chow down, but when Ars tries to buy some candy, someone bumps into him. He's surprised when Reitz points out that his money got snatched, so they go after the thief. This thief's pretty damn speedy, making it hard to catch up, but Reitz rips off their coat and reveals it's a girl. They follow her into an alley, where she's getting jumped by some dudes. Ars tells them to back off, so they try to attack him, but Reitz shuts them down and teaches them a little lesson. They bounce, and Ars thinks his homie is hella cool. Ars checks on the girl to see if she's alright, and he's shocked to find out she's an S-tier mage with insane potential. Not only that, her leadership can reach 92, and her prowess can go as high as 116. She's a super young girl, but her skills rival even Ars's dad. Every stat that ain't magic related is weak. But that's all good because she must already have some insane magic power. Reitz tells her to give Ars his money back, but Ars interrupts and asks her to be his retainer. Reitz points out she's a thief, but Ars reveals that she's got incredible magic talent like he's never seen before. But the girl cuts in and straight up says she'd rather end her own life than serve a kid like Ars. Ars tries to tell her she's got insane magic potential, but she don't believe him because she's never even used magic before. This clever kid peeps the situation from a whole different angle and figures out that she's a straight-up thief because she's been through some rough times. So he breaks it down for her, saying that if she rolls with him as his retainer, she'll get a fat paycheck and regular meals. But damn, the girl ain't having it. She straight up calls Ars a spoiled brat and hates on nobles. She wonders what gives them the right to look down on others. She thinks they're just born lucky and don't do jack to earn their privilege. She makes it crystal clear that she ain't trying to be a tool to protect Ars's fancy lifestyle. Ars explains that he ain't no fancy noble like the ones she's talking about. He wants to build a town where people like her can live good lives, and he needs her help for that. The girl points out that these people are suffering right now, and his idea of helping them later sounds mad naive to her. She assumes Ars just wants her help to flex on others how kind he is and make himself feel good. Reitz jumps in to keep it simple and tells her to give the money back. So she does because she don't want to owe them for saving her. Ars notices a mark on her wrist, and she spills that she got caught sneaking into some noble's house and ended up getting sold off to a slave trader. She managed to escape, so those dudes Reitz beat down were the trader's lackeys. Ars thinks she should bounce from town because they're looking for her, but she says she can't. Just then, a bunch of kids come up and give her a big hug, and she points out that these lil homies ain't got parents and no one to love them. She can't just abandon them like that. Ars gets it now, so he agrees to lay off trying to recruit her, but he hooks her up with his money pouch. She reminds him that he's giving it to her willingly, so he can't ask for it back. Ars says it's all hers now, so she calls him a weirdo and dips out with the orphan kids. That night, Ars can't get the girl's tough life out of his mind. Reitz knows the struggle too, and tells him straight up that the world ain't kind to those at the bottom. She probably got treated like trash by nobles in the past, and that's why she hates them. Reitz points out that Ars ain't like that, but Ars realizes he's been taking his privileged lifestyle for granted, so he understands why she sees him that way. Ars really wants to build a better town, and she might have been right with what she said. Just then, Ars spots the orphan kids from earlier, and they spill that the girl named Charlotte got captured. A brief look into Charlotte's past, and you'll see how damn tough her life was. She was just a kid, but she couldn't even remember the last time she shed tears. As she looks at a happy little girl, she starts wondering if the last time she cried was when she realized she ain't got no damn parents. Life only got worse as she grew up. She was broke and homeless, so folks treated her like shit. She wonders if she last cried when she realized she's less than a human. She gives up trying to remember and just wonders why the hell she was born in the first place. Now back in the present, Charlotte's getting her ass kicked by those goons non-stop. They're pissed because she's making their job harder, and they're disappointed because they still can't make her cry, so they keep on kicking. The slave trader reminds them not to mess up her face because he already found a buyer for her, and he don't want to piss off the evil dude. The goons find out she's got a bunch of cash, so Charlotte tries to snatch it back, but she pays the price for it. Charlotte was trying to get that money for the orphans, but the trader tells her there's no damn hope for her. Even if she escaped, she'd just go back to a life of misery. He suggests she accept that her life is done, and tells her to blame her parents for abandoning her. Just then, all the goons get spooked because Reitz barges in. He straight up wrecks a bunch of those goons, and Charlotte wonders why the hell they're here. The trader tells him they got some nerve breaking in, but he's shocked when Ars somehow knows his name. This dude can tell Ars is a noble by the way he's dressed, but he ain't letting Charlotte go free. He explains she's just merchandise, and nobles like Ars and his family are the ones secretly buying them. He hopes as a noble Ars would understand, but that just pisses Ars off even more. Charlotte tells Ars to stay the hell out of this since he barely knows her, but Ars has been thinking about something since they met. He's been trying to figure out why her eyes look so damn empty, and he finally realized her ambition level is just at 1. Ambition means someone's personal hopes and dreams, representing their desire to improve, their tenacity, and their hope for the future. Charlotte's just at a damn 1, meaning she's given up on her future. The trader straight up laughs his ass off, making it clear that Charlotte's just a damn slave, so she ain't got no future idiot. This shit pisses off Ars big time, and he points out that adults are supposed to protect the future of kids. But this dude not only took away Charlotte's future, but now he's laughing about it. Ars reaches his damn limit and says it should be up to Charlotte to decide what she wants to be, not these damn goons. Charlotte remembers why she stopped crying. Shedding tears don't help no one survive. She gave up on having dreams a long-ass time ago because she believed destinies are decided when people are born. Shutting off her heart was the only way she could protect herself from all the shitty treatment. She learned tears are for the weak, and in her world, weakness equals death. She decided to focus on being strong to survive, so it's hella confusing why the hell she's crying now of all times. The trader's done being nice to Ars, so Charlotte tells him to bounce, but Ars tells her not to worry and tells Reitz to handle their asses. The goons say they're in real trouble now, but Reitz slams one of them down and says they'll pay the ultimate price for pissing off his lord Ars, which is death. The goons think they can overpower him because they got the numbers, but Reitz straight up wrecks a whole bunch of them. These idiots even try to use magic against him, but that doesn't even slow Reitz down. Reitz stands tall over all the defeated goons, and the trader calls him a damn monster. The trader says he got no other choice, so he calls his biggest goon. This giant used to be an infantry commander, but he got kicked out for bad behavior. Charlotte's worried about this dude, but Ars uses his powers on him and tells her not to sweat it. The guy looks down on them, but Reitz points out he can only do that if he makes it out of their fight alive. This gets the guy to attack Reitz right away, but Reitz's skills are on a whole other level. He knocks this dude out in no time, and Charlotte's straight up stunned, wondering who the hell these guys are. The traitor just spilled that the big shot headman in the Canard district is all for this slave trade crap. But Ars already knew that, so he straight up declares that he's gonna buy Charlotte. The traitor tries to resist, but Reitz calls him out, saying they could easily snatch her right out of his hands. And that would be way worse for the traitor's reputation if he lost a slave who already had a damn buyer. It'd sound way smoother if he just sold her to someone willing to pay more. After some grumbling, the guy begrudgingly agrees to let them buy her. So Ars offers to take her back to her crew. But Charlotte wants to hit up a specific spot first. The problem is it's deep in the forest, and Ars ain't exactly a fan of hiking. But they make it there, and damn Ars is blown away by the breathtaking view. This place is Charlotte's secret spot, where all the town's problems seem small. It's clear this place means the world to her. So Ars wonders why she's showing it to him. After giving his words some thought, Charlotte wonders why Ars wants to build a town where even people like her can have stable lives. Ars keeps it simple. He's all about loving kids. Charlotte points out that he's a kid too, but Ars breaks it down further. He knows that when you're feeling down, a kid's smile can lift you right up. And he believes it's because a child's smile is filled with hope. Having hope means being excited for the future, and that excitement holds some serious power. Ars believes that smiles are contagious, and that enthusiasm is what makes a city a better place. That's part of the reason why he wants to create a space where kids can always have hope. He wants to build a town where people can live with hope and stability. Ars apologizes if he sounds like he's lecturing her, but surprisingly Charlotte agrees to be his right hand. Ars reminds her about the orphans, but she explains that they're the reason she's down for it. She wants those kids to have the kind of future Ars is talking about. Just then, Reitz comes through and reveals he found some magic item in the warehouse. He trusts Ars's eye for spotting talent, but he wants to see for himself if Charlotte can use magic. She's willing to try, but she reminds them that she's never really used magic before, and she doesn't even know how to cast spells or any of that shit. While Reitz breaks it down for her, Ars starts thinking about how he's never come across anyone else with an S-rank magic gift. He wonders just how damn powerful Charlotte is, and she's ready to show him. She recites a quick incantation and unleashes a crazy powerful fire spell. And damn, the dudes are straight up shocked. But that ain't even the half of it. As that spell lights up the sky, people everywhere are losing their minds over the epic fire show, and the magic item straight up shatters. The guys are still in complete awe, and Charlotte finally starts showing some confidence. Ars couldn't be happier, and Reitz finally gives her props for her talent. Charlotte's stoked to hear she's gonna get a monthly paycheck, a place to crash, and regular food, but she wants all that cash sent to help out the orphans instead. All she needs is just a roof over her head and some food, so Ars agrees to make it happen. Ars always knows how to say the right shit, as he declares he can't wait to see what her future holds. And Charlotte says she'll do whatever to make Ars's dream come true, and she calls him Lord Ars. But Ars is quick to shut that formal shit down, saying she doesn't have to be all formal. So she's relieved because she sucks at it anyway, and she's older than him, so it'd be weird. Charlotte apologizes for taking their money and thanks him for saving her. Ars says it ain't nothing, he just wants to go home and eat. She tells Reitz that she's really looking forward to seeing Ars's future, and Reitz agrees, while Charlotte tells the orphans she's gonna get them some milk. Ars is thinking about how damn happy he is to have two loyal allies. The House of Luvent is definitely getting stronger, but Ars can't front on feeling the pressure. He's surrounded by badass people, and he wonders if he's capable of leading them since he's just an ordinary dude. He's scared of screwing it all up and letting them down. But then he remembers the promise he made to them and pulls himself together. He's gonna do whatever it takes to build an epic town. Finally, they all sit down to eat, but it becomes hella clear that Charlotte needs to learn some basic manners and speech. Charlotte thinks it's impossible, but Reitz breaks it down for her. She needs to get her act together because she'll be rolling with Ars at meals. Charlotte tells Ars she would rather take a nap, but Reitz gotta remind her that to them he's Lord Ars. After that, Raven refuses to accept Charlotte, since he thinks the battlefield is too risky for females. But Ars ain't having it. He tells Charlotte to show off her power, and Raven quickly changes his tune. And he's all in and gladly welcomes her into their crew. 3 years later, we spot Raven's army rolling back from the battlefield. Turns out they have beef with the province of Sates, and that's why Raven got to serve in the military. Ars asks him about the battle, and he spills that they straight up crushed the enemy, giving props to Charlotte's magic for leading them to victory. Word is she's now known as the baddest mage on the whole damn battlefield, running the magic unit like a boss. We see that Ars got some newborn siblings, and both of them got mad skills. He thinking they gonna hold it down and support the fam in the future. Reitz fills him in about the Keisha brothers, saying they come from a hunter family that just moved to Lamberg, and they look like they got talent. So Ars decides to track them down, and Charlotte offering to roll with him. They search through the woods, and they spot a creature dipping, but suddenly an arrow takes it out in one shot, and these two hunters show up. Ars, using his ability, figures out these cats are the Keisha brothers, Gatos and Marcus, and he sees their talent, thinking they gonna make solid soldiers. They invite him to their house, where their dad Greg is cooking up a feast. Charlotte tastes the food and be like, damn, it's delicious. Gatos explaining it's the creature they just hunted called a Tesur. Greg asks Ars why he is in the woods, so he explains he wanna recruit Gatos and Marcus for the army because he knows they got skills. Greg is over the moon about this news. He let Ars know he got another son named Rosal, but he ain't as capable as his brothers. They peep Rosal sneaking bread from the table, so Greg scolding him, telling him to greet their guests. Ars use his skills on Rosal and realize this dude is a straight-up genius, his intellect off the charts. So Ars tells Greg he wanna make Rosal his vassal, but Greg thinking it's a bad idea, saying he gonna be nothing but trouble. But Ars asking him if he wanna join them, and Greg gets scared, thinking he gotta hit the battlefield, so he straight up refuses, saying he ain't trying to die. He bounces back to his room, and Greg breaks it down to Ars that ever since his mom passed, Rosal been keeping himself locked up in there, not learning any life skills. But Ars ain't sweating it and says Rosal is a genius, thinking he gonna be a wicked tactician one day. Ars steps into Rosal's room and peep this dude reading a book, but he explains it's the only one they got in the house, and his mom used to read it to him. He says the book is bringing him peace, so Ars invites him to his library, saying he can read as much as he wants. At first Rosal straight up refuses because he doesn't trust Ars, but he wants to read more books, so he agrees, but he says he gonna bring his brothers along. They head to the mansion, and Ars introduces Charlotte to Gatos and Marcus. She shows them around the barracks, while Rosal heads to the library. Ars tells him to read whatever books catch his interest, and orders Reitz to look after him, saying he gotta study too. Then he bounces from the library. But he ends up knocking out and wakes up later, realizing he left Rosal in the library for hours, thinking the dude probably bounced already. So he heads back to the library, and Reitz tells him Rosal fell asleep after reading a ton of books. Ars used his skill, peeping that Rosal's intellect getting sharper by the minute. He notices Rosal learning at lightning speed. His brothers join them, thinking Rosal just wasted time in the library because he has never been taught how to read. Ars is all surprised to hear this. Rosal wakes up, and Ars asks him how the hell he learning to read books. Rosal explains he picked it up by watching his mom, and everybody finding it hard to believe. The next day, Ars rolls up to the brothers, telling them to set up traps to catch the sower. Rosal explains he read about traps, so Ars tells him to use his knowledge to snag them. His brothers back him up, so Rosal decides to give it a shot. After some time, Greg peeps Rosal's invention and realizes that Joint straight up snagged a bunch of sower. He breaks it down that he is stressed about their pops because once his brothers turn into soldiers, he gonna struggle to hunt for food. So he came up with this trap, revealing that he painted the fence yellow to lure the sow in. Greg notices some herbs hanging above, so Rosal spills that the little Somel and their mamas hate its aroma, so it keeps them away. He wants the sow to keep breeding. His bros think he's a legend, but Greg tells Rosal to bounce from the house with his brothers and tells Ars to take good care of them. So Rosal starts thinking his dad got hate for him, but Ars thinks there gotta be a solid reason why Greg acting this way. That night, Rosal is reflecting about his mom, thinking his dad straight up despises him because his mom's health went downhill after she gave birth to him. He putting the blame on himself for her demise. But out of nowhere, he overhears Greg chatting it up with his bros, and Gatos wondering why he treating Rosal so rough. So Greg explains he wants Rosal to hate him because he thinks he failed as a dad. He couldn't see his son's talent, and he spills that he got love for Rosal. He wanna see him reach his full potential. but Greg thinks he's standing in the way. So he wants Rosal to forget about him and tells Gatos and Marcus to back up their brother. The next day, Ars arrives to scoop the boys up, so they get ready to leave and Greg starts chopping wood. But Rosal steps up to him, saying he ain't holding no hate and he making a promise to give it his all. He lets his pops know he wanna reunite again, and Greg is over the moon hearing this, saying he gonna be waiting for them to come back. 3 years later, we peep Raven ain't doing so well, and Ars thinking he ain't fit to fight, but his dad says he got no choice because things are messed up. We find out the governor kicked the bucket a year back, but he named his younger son Vazmak as the next big shot. However, the older brother Curran is claiming the document was fake, sparking a big-ass argument. The homies are split on who should take charge, and now their hood mission is all messed up, with Sates taking advantage of the chaos. Ars be wondering if he gotta throw down, but his dad says there is something even more important for him to focus on, his engagement. Ars be straight up shocked hearing this, like damn, why ain't nobody tell him? His dad hands him a letter and he rushes to spread the word to the crew, wondering what the hell he should do about it. But then out of nowhere, his homie comes through and says his fiancée just rolled up. He heads out to meet her, but he ain't got a clue how to act because he never had a girl in his past life. But the girl introduces herself as Lisha Played, and damn, she got him swooning right off the bat. But when he peeps her stats, he is straight up shocked because she got crazy high ambition, and he thinks it doesn't match her cute looks. He worried she fronting on him, and he ain't letting her play him. But as she talks, he finds her too damn adorable. He decides to show her around, and her butler Jean is hella surprised to see a Malkin in the house, but Lisha already knows about Reitz, so she straight up tells Jean to say sorry. Lisha gets a warm welcome, and they sit down for a meal. She loves the meat, and Ars tells her about how they trapped them Sua. He thinks she is really cute, and she mentions how she passed through Lamberg on her way there. Ars thinks it's a shame it's raining so he can't show her around, but she tells him not to trip because the sun starts shining. He wondering if she got control over the weather, but she revealed she peeped at the clouds on her way and knew it was just a quick rain, so she told him to take her around the town. Meanwhile, we spot Charlotte and Rosal watching them, but they both getting a bad vibe from her. Ars and Lisha head into the town and we peep two dudes arguing. Ars wondering what the deal is and a woman telling him it's a beef over a magic stone order. The shopkeeper ordered flame magic stones, but the dealer brought sound magic stones instead, and since it was all verbal, ain't nobody knows who's in the wrong. Ars thinks he should step up and fix it, but he worries about messing up in front of Lisha. Charlotte pops up, offering to solve things with force, but Lisha shuts her down. Charlotte thinks she should mind her own damn business, but Lisha saying she a fan, and even Charlotte is feeling her charm. Lisha decides to handle the situation and asks Ars for a favor if she succeeds. We peep the dudes throwing fists, and Lisha steps up to them. They wonder who she be, so she introduces herself as Ars's fiancée, and they are happy as hell hearing that, thinking Ars growing up. She offers to buy the sound magic stone, saying they precious in her turf, and she revealing they got a volcano, so she can sell the flame magic stone at a good price too. But she claims it was all Ars's idea. The dudes are thrilled he cares about helping them, and he tells them to write up a contract next time to avoid this mess in the future. The situation was resolved, and Ars shows gratitude to Lisha for her help. After that, Lisha brings up her favor, and Ars wonders what she is after, but she just asking him to answer her question, wondering what kind of person he is into. Ars can't believe that's all she wants, but he knows he can't outsmart her, so he tells her he digs people who speak their minds and keep it real. At night, Ars thinking how he couldn't figure out Lisha's intentions, but as he gets ready to crash, he finds her in his bed. He wondering if she messing with him, but she mentioning she wanna have a straight up convo with him. They share some tea, and he wonders what she wanna talk about. She reveals she got the talent to read people's emotions just by looking at them, and she mentions how he was suspicious of her when they first met, so she was curious about why. He decides to spill the truth, revealing his ability to see a person's stats and how she has insanely high ambition, making him think all her moves are calculated. He thinks she ain't gonna believe him, but she thinks it explains his actions. She admits she is ambitious as hell, so Ars wondering what she is really after. She straight up spills that her goal as a woman is to make a good man fall head over heels for her, and Ars realizes the best move for her is to marry someone with power. He thinks she's unlucky because their turf is small, but Lisha knows exactly what's going on in his head. She tells him that even though their territory may be small, after spending the day with him, she still wants to be his wife because she sees great potential in him. Ars thinks he's just got good folks around him, but Lisha believes that's exactly why he'll be great. She points out how everyone sees him as family, and she thinks that's the most important quality for a leader. She straight up tells him she's fallen in love with him, but then she decides to call it a night and Ars is left dumbfounded. He starts freaking out because he didn't respond, but we see Lisha outside feeling embarrassed too. But she realizes it's the first time she's opened up to someone like that. We see Lisha walking away, and she notices that he still hasn't responded to her confession. That totally freaks him out, but she tells him she can wait, because she's decided she's gonna marry him. In a flashback, we learn that she straight up hates the world of nobility because everyone's out there lying and backstabbing, just trying to secure their own positions. She hates her own ability because of that mess too. But one day when she saw a girl getting hitched, she realized she could escape all the scheming and plotting if she found a man who was strong enough. So she had no plans to marry into Ars's household because she thought she needed to find someone even stronger. But after spending time with him, she saw how kind and loved he is, and she wanted to be a part of his world. So she's grateful to God for giving her power, and she's down to help Ars build his new world. We see Ars writing to her, letting her know his dad is getting better and the whole succession mess is cooling down. But he wants to see her again so he can finally spill his feelings and let her know he wants to marry her too. Well, looks like he jinxed it because Raven's condition went straight down the toilet because his condition's been getting worse this whole year, and he's bound to kick the bucket sooner or later. But Ars ain't ready to let his pops go without repay for everything he has done for him. So he's praying for Raven to hold on a little longer. Meanwhile, up in Castle Reincarnates, the governor's chilling in his dark throne room, all by his lonesome, not a guard in sight. Then out of nowhere, some dude opens the door holding a knife like he means business. The governor tries to make a run for it. But damn, his royal ass got a -10 mobility debuff, so he trips and eats dirt. That's when the assassin takes his opportunity to run up to him and stabs the governor in the back. A shit ton of guards swarms the room, trying to surround the assassin and drag his ass in for questioning. But the assassin already got what he came for, so he pulls some crazy acrobatic move to jump out the window and splatters his damn head on the pavement like a cracked coconut. So they ain't never gonna find out who's behind this mess. Sometime later, news of the governor's assassination reaches Raven's ears. He calls for a meeting with Ars and his crew to figure out what the hell to do. He turns to Rosal asking what's gonna go down now that the governor's 6 feet under, and Rosal knows shit's about to hit the fan with a nasty war on the horizon. With the governor gone, the fight for succession is about to explode in every district. They gotta pick sides between the older bro Curran and the younger bro Vazmak. Lumiere, the big shot in the Canar district, is probably gonna side with Curran, and Lamberg's gonna follow suit. Raven's expecting a summons letter any minute now, so he tells Reitz to have the soldiers ready to roll at a moment's notice. He wants to get himself ready for battle too, but damn, he can't even crawl his sick ass out of bed right now. Soon enough, the summons letter arrives, telling Lamberg to gather their forces for the upcoming war. Since Raven can't join the party, Reitz suggests that he and Charlotte step up as leaders and hold it down in his place. But Ars ain't having it. He's dead set on being the one to handle shit. Ars, Charlotte, and Reitz stand on a cliff and look over the Canar district where they're about to meet Lord Lumiere. Ars can't help but feel a bit uneasy about what kind of man they're about to encounter. They roll up to the castle gates, and Ars straight up introduces himself as Raven Luven's son, showing up because Lord Lumiere called him. The guard takes a look at the invitation and it seems legit, but he ain't buying that Ars is here to represent House Luvent because he's just a kid. But then the guard recognizes Charlotte as the famous Lady of Flames and Reitz as the Reaper of Luvent. That makes Ars wonder what messed up shit Reitz must have pulled on the battlefield to earn a title like that. Anyways, the guard ain't doubting Ars's identity no more, so he leads them inside the castle where Ars gets introduced to Lumiere's right-hand man, Minas Renard. Ars says it's all good to meet him, and since Ars showed up, Minas figures Raven must really be sick and wishes him a speedy recovery. Ars takes a sec to check out Minas's stats, and damn, this dude is above average at everything. Minas mentions he's heard about the crew's achievements and straight up offers them to work here instead. But Charlotte and Reitz already swore loyalty to House Luvent. so they turn down Minas's offer. He's disappointed, but he gets their commitment. With the intros done, Minas leaves Ars in the meeting room where the other leaders are waiting. Ars feels a bit nervous, but he walks in there and confidently introduces himself as Ars Luvent, representing Raven Luvent. He takes a seat, but he's still feeling hella nervous because ain't nobody said shit yet. Finally, Crawl Orslow, who used to hang with Raven and play with Ars, breaks the silence. He tells Ars to chill and even offers him some cookies. Meanwhile, this other dude is giving Ars the meanest look, and Ars ain't got a clue why. Just when Ars was about to try and smooth things over with him, the main doors swing open and in walks Lumer Pyres, the headman of Canar. Lumer thanks them all for showing up and takes a seat. Ars checks out his stats, and it's about what one could expect from the headman of a district. His prowess is really high, but nothing else is really remarkable. But if you take a closer look, Minas makes up for the skills that Lumer lacks, so with no doubt together they can make the best decisions for the country. Lumer's sorry for bringing them here on such short notice, but he wanted them to hear it straight from his mouth. The governor getting assassination is definitely going to set off a massive war and a power struggle. Lumer's riding for the older brother till the bitter end, and that ain't changing. So he asks if anyone's got beef with his plans. Crawl and Ars ain't got nothing to throw in at the meeting. So Lumer wraps it up and spills about the rumors that Sates might use this chance to launch another attack on them. He wants their troops locked and loaded in case that goes down. Now that the meeting's done, the others are already plotting ways to keep their troops ready. And Ars is straight up wiped because he's never been this damn nervous in his life. While he's still sprawled out on the table, Lord Lumer hits him up. So he jumps up right away to apologize for his rude behavior. Lumer tells him there's no need to say sorry and he knows about Raven's condition. He's stoked to have Ars holding it down in his place. Luvent might be a small deal, but lately their people have shown strength beyond expectations. Lumer's also glad that Ars is wise enough to act as his father's proxy, even though he's only 11. So he's got mad high hopes for the future of House Luvent. The same goes for Charlotte and Reitz. With that said, Lumer bounces to handle his own shit. As he dips, Ars and the others realize they gotta step up big time. So Ars suggests they start preparing as best they can for the upcoming battle. But before he can even get started, he gets called again. And this time it's by the dude who was giving him the evil eye earlier. The dude says it's the first time they're talking, so he introduces himself as Hammond Played. Basically, he is Lisha's pops. He asks if Hammond needs anything from him. And Hammond mentions that Lisha's been all messed up lately, and it's because Ars ain't been keeping in touch. He wants to know if Ars has been answering Lisha's letters on time, and Ars tries to explain that he's been trying, but with his old man getting sicker and the governor getting whacked, he didn't have much time to finish his last letter. He apologizes and promises to write her a letter as soon as he's back home. Hammond admits that Lisha usually keeps to herself and acts all self-absorbed. But lately she's been opening up and showing her feelings more. And he thinks it's because of Ars, so it's clear she's got strong feelings for him. Lisha's always been a good girl, obedient and all, but he took that for granted and focused on military and state shit instead of spending time with her. So he knows she must have been hella lonely, especially with all those shady-ass nobles around her. He really wants her to find happiness, which is why he agreed to the engagement. So he asks Ars to take damn good care of Lisha, and Ars promises to do whatever he can to make her happy. When Ars gets home, he spills everything about what Lumer said at the meeting to Raven, and it's just like he predicted. But Raven's got a few words for Ars about him rolling up there without letting him know. And the words are that he's damn proud of him. After that, Ars gets down to writing a response letter to Lisha and apologizes for taking so long to write back. He tells her about all the recent shit going down and how he met her pops, but with a war on the horizon, he's got to give it his all to win and protect Lisha, just like he promised Hammond. Later that day, we see Ars training with Reitz in the art of the sword, but he gets his ass knocked to the ground real hard. Reitz suggests he takes a breather because they've been at it all day, but Ars insists on keeping going. Everyone around him is getting stronger, but he feels like he hasn't made any progress in years. He led a troop in a practice battle earlier, and to be real, it was a total disaster. He's read about war, but he's got zero actual experience with it. And when real soldiers charged at him, he always flinched. He knows he'll have Reitz and Charlotte by his side, but if he can't hold his own on the battlefield, he'll just be dragging everyone else down. But in the middle of Ars's self-loathing, Rosal comes running up to him and says Sate sent forces to Calmare. Lumiere wants them to head to the battlefield at once to intercept them in Calmare's crawl territory. They got some leeway in how they deal with Sate's invasion, but if they don't handle it now, it's gonna be Lamberg's problem real soon. Lamberg's gonna be Sate's next target if they manage to invade Calmare. Raven still ain't fit to fight, so that means Ars gotta step up and hit the battlefield instead. And damn, he's scared as hell of the idea. He tries to stay calm and gives the order for the troops to roll out under his command. As he heads out, Reitz tries to reassure him, saying everything will be straight because he's got Charlotte and Reitz having his back. A few minutes later, Ars addresses the troops and tells them he's leading them into battle to protect the Calmare district. But in the middle of his speech, Raven cuts in and tells Ars he can't let him go to war just yet. He's still way too green. So Raven says he'll take charge and lead the troops instead. Ars points out that Raven's still too sick to go to war. But Raven would regret letting Ars die on the battlefield way more than dying himself for the sake of the Calmare district. Ars tries to explain that with Reitz and Charlotte by his side, he's sure they'll come back victorious. But victory ain't the issue here. Raven says Ars ain't got the face of a warrior, and to prove it, he orders one of the soldiers to bring out the dude they got locked up in the dungeon. When they bring him out, Ars asks who this guy is. So Raven explains his name's Baramorda, and he's committed every crime under the sun without a hint of remorse. He was supposed to be executed a while back, but Raven's illness delayed it. Now he wants to carry out the execution right there, and he tells Ars to watch it go down. If Ars can watch this guy get killed without losing his cool, then Raven will recognize him as a man and let him lead the troops into battle. Even as he's about to die, Baramorda keeps talking about how much he enjoyed killing little kids like Ars the most. But even though he's a total scumbag, when the axe comes down on his neck and his head gets chopped off, Ars's eyes go blank because he can't handle what he just saw. The sight of the severed head and the blood knocks Ars down to his knees, but Raven tells him there's nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone reacts that way the first time they see death. But right now, if one death throws Ars off, there's no way he'll be able to handle a battlefield where death's happening all the time. Raven orders the troops to move out, along with Reitz, Charlotte, and Rosal, leaving Ars there to think about how naive he was to think he was ready for war. At the conflict boundary, we watch as Raven and Ars's crew get down in a battle, Reitz and Raven holding it down on the front lines, while Rosal calls the shots, adjusting the army's formation. Charlotte does her thing and unleashes a massive fireball, blowing up a wall. Raven's sickness is taking its toll as he coughs up blood, but he still fights with mad courage. The enemy outnumbers the Canar army by 50%. But thanks to Raven leading the Luvent forces, they manage to take the fortress they were after. The battle drags on for over a month, and Raven returns 4 days after Ars's 12th birthday, but he's in rough shape. Ars's siblings are scared he might die, so Ars goes to talk to his crew. He tells Reitz that he got injured during training and asks about his pops. Reitz explains how Raven fought like a hero, but his already weak health got even worse once the fighting was done. Ars blames himself for not being strong enough to take Raven's place, but the others remind him that Raven was already sick. Ars requests to be kept in the loop if Raven's condition changes. Then he goes off to train some more. Reitz mentions that it's getting late, but Ars don't give a damn. Everyone's worried about Ars because they've heard he's going all out in his daily training. Just then, the crew is shocked when Lisha shows up at their doorstep. She's hella concerned about Ars because she's noticed a change in the letters he's been sending lately. His words used to be sweet and warm, but now he seems distant. She wonders if something's wrong, so Reitz asks her not to be offended when he tells her that Ars has his reasons. Lisha gets upset and explains that she ain't offended, she's just worried. She's desperate to know what's wrong, so everyone agrees to tell her. They tell her about the execution and how Ars feels guilty for making Raven's condition worse. Lisha blames herself for not helping Ars sooner when he needed it, so she begs them to tell her where he's at. Lisha all hyped up to see Ars, but he's in the middle of some hardcore training. After he collapses on the ground, Ars is told that he can't physically handle any more training. But Ars ain't having it, and he points out that his pops fought in a real battle, in an even worse condition. Ars desperately wants to protect everyone like his old man, so he keeps on training. The crew's surprised when Lisha decides not to talk to him, so she explains that now ain't the right time. Just then, they hear that Raven's regained consciousness. Rosal wants to share the good news with Ars, But turns out Raven wants to talk to the three of them first. Raven speaks to them casually, and Charlotte's wondering who this dude is. Raven explains that he ain't speaking to them as their lord right now. He just wants to know if they're happy with their lives in the house. Turns out it's like heaven to them, and Raven's glad to hear that. But then he drops some bad news. He explains that his time in this world is almost up, so he wants to tell them something. He didn't expect much when Ars first brought them in, but they've become crucial pillars in their domain. Raven's glad to have met them, and he's proud of all they've achieved. They're all speechless, and Raven reveals he's got a favor to ask. Ars ain't ready to take on battles just yet, and making him the lord now would be hella cruel. Now, at death's doorstep, Raven realizes how much he's left unfinished. He wishes he could have taken Ars to the battlefield earlier, so he could have shown him the harsh realities of the world while still being there to protect him. But it's too late for that. So Raven asks the three of them to support Ars. He ain't asking as some lord of a domain. Raven's asking as a father. He declares how proud he is to call Ars his son, and he begs them to grant him this wish. Rosal gives credit to Ars for mending his own relationship with his dad, and he swears he'll do whatever it takes to help Ars. Charlotte explains how Ars gave her life purpose, and she can't serve anyone else. Reitz feels the same way, swearing to fight for Ars even if it means dying. They all agree to have Ars's back, and they thank Raven for letting them into his house. Reitz has one thing to ask Raven, and Raven agrees. So Reitz tells Lisha that Raven wants to talk to her. Lisha apologizes for meeting under these messed up circumstances, but she's shocked when she finds out they've actually met before. Raven thought she was just some overly careful girl when he first saw her, but he soon realized she had a good heart. Raven wanted someone like her by Ars's side, so he asked for her to be engaged to Ars. Raven's worried she might be bummed out about Ars's flaws, but that's the last thing on her mind. She admits that Ars's kindness can make him vulnerable, but she knows he's trying like hell to overcome that to be more like Raven. Raven's glad to hear her speaking like that, because it's clear she's fallen in love with Ars. Lisha proudly confesses that she loves Ars with all her heart, and Raven thanks her. Lisha leaves the room as Raven asks to see Ars next, and she thanks Reitz for helping her meet Raven. When Reitz is alone, his mind gets flooded with all the memories he had with Raven, and he breaks down crying. Later, Ars all pumped up goes to see his dad, and he's relieved to hear he's feeling better. Ars spills that he's done mad research about Raven's illness, and there are some remedies he wants to try. Ars tries to talk about a doctor who might be able to help, but Raven cuts him off. Raven remembers being Ars's age when he ran away from home and dipped to the city, because of the tyrant who ruled his village. The governor of Mission happened to be visiting the city, and what Raven remembers most is how damn impressive he seemed. Raven was hella amazed by him, and he wanted to be just like him. Someone who could be a governor and lead a bunch of soldiers. Raven taught himself the sword and became a soldier. He fought with all his heart and got recognized for his actions. Before he knew it, he got appointed by Lumiere and ended up having his own turf. He cherishes everyone living in Lamberg, and he dedicated his life to protecting them. Ars gets worried when Raven starts coughing, and Raven reveals that he knows Ars blames himself for his condition. Raven assures him that it ain't his fault, because he chose this life. Raven's got a favor to ask Ars, so he tells him to protect the people of Lamberg. Ars start breaking down, but he stops himself and declares that he'll do his old man's request. Raven can see the determination in Ars's eyes, so he realizes that being his son must have been a heavyweight. Ars rejects that idea and proudly says he's glad to be Raven's son. Raven lightens the mood by asking about how things are going with Lisha, and the two reminisce about the past. They end up chatting all night long, and even the rest of the family joins in. Unfortunately, the next day, Raven was gone. That night, Ars has his siblings bid farewell to their dad as he's laid to rest. Ars starts shedding a few tears and gives a speech about how incredible his dad was. He lets everyone know that Raven entrusted him with taking care of everyone in Lamberg. Ars admits he ain't as strong as his pops, but he swears to look after them all more than anyone else, and he vows to protect them. He asks for their support, and they all rally behind him, saying they'd do anything for him. Just then, Charlotte remembers a time when she tried to push herself on the battlefield, but Raven told her to save that desperate effort for when it was Ars on the battlefield, so she promised to do just that. Rosal recalls a memory of staying up mad late studying and telling Raven he wanted to learn as much as he could so he could help Ars. Raven reminded him he had plenty of time to grow, so he could take it slow and grow alongside Ars. Lisha feels a bit sad about her own memory, but she's glad to see how close everyone is in this moment. Ars thanks everyone for having his back and asks his dad to watch over them. Ars gets himself together and turns to everyone, proclaiming that from today, he's the boss of House Luvent. Everyone bows down to him, and he declares that the legend of House Luvent starts right now. Meanwhile, a mysterious woman overhears some dudes talking about an assassination, and she asks them to spill the deets. 3 months later, Ars tells his old man that everyone's been holding him down, helping him get used to his fancy lordly duties. Ars knows he can never live up to his pops, but he promises to give it his all in his own damn way. The lords gather to pay homage to Raven and announce that Ars has taken over as the head of House Luvent. Ars vows to step up and fill his role to the best of his abilities, and the other lords are impressed by the confidence in his eyes. Ars is now on the same level as them, and he gets hyped when they say they expect big things from him. Shit's getting real with the war between the brothers kicking off, so Minas fills everyone in on the situation. The younger brothers got more troops and resources than them, and he's holding down the capital of the Mission province. The older brother controls the trade city of Sempler, which gives them an economic edge. So overall, the power's pretty balanced between the two rival cities. That means the surrounding districts are gonna play a major role, and Lord Curran's been hustling to secure them. But here's the problem, there's one domain that ain't playing nice. It's called Perina, and it's sitting right in the middle of an important supply route they need for the front lines. They were hoping to avoid unnecessary fights, but this route is crucial, so they gotta take over Perina. And just when everyone's thinking about their next move, Ars drops a bomb on them. He asks if they can let him try something first. A look back shows Rosal got suspicious of the way the enemy army was moving, and Reitz backed him up, but they ain't sure what was wrong exactly. They know it'd be dumb to attack without knowing the deal, so they decided to gather some intel first. Reitz suggests reaching out to this mercenary group called Shadow. They're pros at gathering information, and rumor has it they're damn good at it. Everyone agrees, so Rosal tells Ars to bring it up at the next meeting. Now Ars breaks it down to the lords, explaining how weird it is that the enemy ain't backing down despite being surrounded by enemies. Ars does some convincing, and they give him the green light to investigate the situation. Later on, our crew rolls up to check out Charlotte's grown-up orphans. Ars built an orphanage and made damn sure that Charlotte's kids got accepted. But that ain't all. He asked the folks in charge to take in any homeless kids they could find too. Charlotte catches up with the kids and they spill all their future plans to her. One wants to join Lumera's army and another wants to be a farmer. They thank Ars for changing their lives, but he points out that Charlotte plays a big role too, because she sends most of her salary their way. The kids thank her too, and promise to give it their all. Charlotte thought about bringing them all to Lamberg, but now she realizes it's better for them to stay here. Living in a big city opens up a ton of opportunities, and kids gotta experience all kinds of things. And just when Ars is mind blown, Lisha pops out of nowhere and explains she came with her pops. She rushed to find Ars as soon as she heard he was there. Ars is caught off guard because he ain't mentally prepared to face her right now. Lisha's amazed by the orphanage and notices how happiness seems to follow Ars wherever he goes. One of the little parentless kids gets carried away and messes up Lisha's dress, so Ars promises to buy her a new one. But Lisha's chill about it and joins in on the kid's game. Her butler ain't too thrilled, but Ars respects her for it. Later that night, Ars spills that Reitz is gonna hook him up with a mercenary group called Shadow. If they agree to meet him, he's gonna negotiate a job with them. Lisha wants to come along, but Ars warns her it could be dangerous. Lisha brushes it off, saying Ars will have backup and trusting Reitz to keep them safe. Ars gives in and says he'll fetch her if the mercenaries agree to meet. But Ars is shocked when Lisha reveals that she will be staying with them. She guilt trips Ars into letting her stay, so he goes to prep a room for her. This wild girl even suggests sharing a room, but Ars shuts that down real quick. Charlotte steps in and explains that Ars will be staying in her room, and just when things couldn't get weirder, Reitz shows up to witness the whole damn moment. Charlotte tells Rosal he's rolling with them, so Reitz apologizes to his little homie and bounces. The next morning, the dudes are dead tired because Charlotte's slapping and tossing all night, keeping them awake. Reitz shows up to spill that he got a message from Shadow, and they gotta bid farewell to the orphans. The kids mention they might not be around next time they visit because they'll have achieved their dreams. Our crew eventually dips, and Ars can tell Charlotte's in a good mood. Reitz explains he reached out to Shadow through his old mercenary crew. Mercenary gangs pass jobs to each other because they all got different specialties. Ritz's crew did frontline battles, but Shadow's all about covert ops, intel, espionage, and sometimes even assassination. Ars is shocked when he hears that and realizes just how damn scary Shadow is. Just then, Ritz reveals that he's concerned about something. He heard Shadow's old leader step down and got replaced by some young blood. This new leader's hella competent, and now Shadow's more capable than ever. Ars ain't seeing it as a big problem. So Ritz goes on to say that this leader only takes jobs they're interested in. Ars figures they just gotta pay up. But that ain't the issue. The problem is they don't know what kind of jobs this leader likes. Lord Lumaire's counting on them. So Ars is dead set on convincing the mercenaries to take the job. They hit up the bar to meet the mercenaries, but they get told it's packed and they gotta bounce. Ars's mind gets blown when Ritz says the secret phrase, and suddenly they're allowed in. Everybody's staring at them, so Charlotte asks if she can roast them all with a fire spell. They shut her down, so they settle for placing their orders. Ars realizes the mercenary group's all about gathering info, so their leader might be watching them right now. Ars tries to use his power to find the leader, but the others remind him to focus on ordering. Just then, the look of terror appears on Ars's face when he uses his ability on the waitress. Ars ain't trying to blow his cover, so he keeps his cool, places his order, and dips to the restroom. Once he's alone, fear takes over and he starts shaking, thinking there must be something off with his appraisal skill. Just to check, he uses it on Ritz, and it works like a charm. But damn, he's terrified because the waitress has a prowess of 92 and an ingenuity of 90. Those stats are off the charts. But what's even crazier is that the waitress is actually a 22-year-old dude. Out of nowhere, the guy pulls out a knife and demands to know how Ars figured out he's the leader of Shadow. Ars stays silent, but luckily Ritz swoops in to save the day. Ritz is furious and wonders if this guy knows who the hell he's messing with. The guy's curious how Ritz knew to show up, and even Ars can't figure it out. Lisha joins the scene and points out that after the way Ars was treated, the leader better accept his job. The guy gets all defiant, wondering what they'd do if he declined. He don't want nobody knowing his identity, so he's thinking about using all his tricks to take out Ars and make a run for it. But Lisha shuts him down real quick, letting him know that with Ritz there, escaping with his life ain't gonna be easy. Ars is in shock as he realizes they're negotiating without him. The guy still considers saying no, so Lisha makes it clear she ain't one to forget. He mentioned eliminating Ars earlier, so Lisha straight up declares that if he did that, she'd chase him to the ends of the earth and put an end to him. Ars has never been more scared of her, and the leader laughs it off and apologizes for being rude. He's still curious how Ars figured out he was the leader when he thought his disguise was flawless. Ars just comes right out and reveals he's got an appraisal skill that lets him see others' abilities. The guy finds it hard to believe, but he's shocked when Ars calls him Mazak. Ars gets stunned when the leader admits he left that name behind long ago and goes by Fam now. The fact that Ars knew his original name is proof enough for the leader that Ars ain't lying about his ability. Fam's down to take the job, but he's praying he won't have to witness Lisha going off again. Ars points out that Fam don't even know what the job entails, but Fam explains he already knows all he needs to. He's got a keen eye for judging someone's character based on the folks they roll with. In Ars's case, he's got the badass Ritz by his side, and Lisha is intimidating beyond her age. And she also got a lot of respect for Ars. Fam compares taking the job with Ars to betting on a surefire winner. Lisha breaks it down, saying she peeped the look on Ars's face when he checked out their supposed waitress. She figured he must have clocked that it was the leader, so Ritz decided to tail him. Ars expresses gratitude for saving his life, and he can't help but think about how reliable Lisha is. Ars lays out the deets of the job, and Fam only charges him 1 gold coin since it's their first time working together. Ars gets caught off guard when he hears it'll only take Fam 5 days to gather the info. Fam reminds him that this is his specialty, so Ars can't wait to see what he's got up his sleeve. Diving into the past, let's see what went down when our crew linked back up with the others, and Ars spilled about their encounter with the Shadow Leader. Charlotte's stoked to hear that he took on the job and even expresses a desire to meet the leader someday. Just then, Fam rolls up as their waitress and hooks Charlotte up with some complimentary pancakes. Ars is blown away by Fam's presence because he never would have guessed he was the big boss of Shadow if he hadn't seen those stats. Fast forward 5 days, and Ars meets up with Fam, who's flying solo because the rest of the Shadow crew's out on a mission. Ars is dumbfounded when he finds out Fam handled his investigation all on his own, and it hits him that Fam's insane skills are what make him the leader of Shadows. Ars is thrilled to hear the mission was a total success, But he can't help but wonder how Fam pulled it off so damn quickly. Unfortunately, that's a trade secret, but Fam's got plenty to spill. Turns out, the reason the Perina district ain't riding with Curran is because they're part of some pact. Fam's got his hands on a document with the signatures of all the noble folks who sided with Lord Vasmark. Out of nowhere, Reitz loses it when he recognizes one of the signatures, and it's a seal from the Massa district, which packs a hefty population and one of the biggest armies on the continent. They'd be a major powerhouse ally for whichever side they choose. Luckily, Massa district's riding with Lord Curran, just like our crew. But the fact that their seal is on this document pledging support to Vasmark means the Massa district straight up betrayed them. Now here's the issue. If they invade Perina, Massa's likely gonna attack them from the back. Fam reckons Perina knew this and realized siding with Curran was a losing move, which is why they ain't playing along. Reitz wants Fam to spill about how he got that legit document to verify its authenticity. But Fam ain't sharing his methods with nobody. Not even his most trusted homies. All he lets on is that he scored it from where the head honcho lives. Reitz apologizes for doubting him. Fam's done with the job, so he hands over the document. And Ars can't help but think how damn cool he is. Ars gets ready to pay him, but Fam says it's not necessary, because he treated Ars like crap before. Fam wants Ars to consider it an apology and an investment in their future. So Ars promises to pay him extra for the next job. Ars and Reitz dip out to let Lord Lumiere in on Massa's double cross. Lumiere's straight up mind blown by the news and knows it won't be smooth sailing to get Perina on their side. He has Minas flex the document to the other lords, and Lumiere gives major props to Ars for saving them from a colossal screw-up. Lumiere decides he needs to chop it up with Curran, and he wants Ars to roll with him. But hold up. Minas drops a bomb. He peeped something real shady about the pact. The signature and seal of the Massa district ain't legit. He compares them to the real deal, and there's a clear difference. All the others check out, but Massa district's seal and signature on the pact look forged as hell. Perina got straight up bamboozled into believing Massa betrayed them, and that's the only reason they sided with Vasmark. Minas got eyes sharp as a blade, so Lumiere vouches for him, saying they can trust what he's saying. Ars is mind blown by Minas's mad skills. His appraisal ability lets him peep stats, but it don't reveal a person's special talents. Ars can't wrap his head around why they'd pushed this lie so hard, knowing it was bound to get busted eventually. The crew figures it was all about stalling for time. If they launched an attack on Perina, they'd have come out on top, but it would have taken a grip as Perina fought back. The peeps behind the lie only care about having Perina on their side for the moment. Perina's expendable to them, which means their real goal must be the explosion magic stones. These stones are crazy valuable and only found in Perina and 3 other districts. When they're refined, explosion magic stones unlock badass magic and could even crank out mega powerful weapons. Vasmark must be after these stones, and it's a shocker when Rosal drops the truth bomb. Attacking Perina ain't an option. If they go at it and wear each other down, they're playing right into Vasmark's hands. Their only play is spilling to Perina and winning them over. The problem is, all the messengers they sent got straight up rejected. Later on, we peep Ars meeting up with the head honcho of Perina himself. Surprisingly, Ars tells him that he knows about the pact, and declares that Lamberg wants to side with Vasmark. Ars fronting like he ain't aware of Massa's forged signature and drops the bomb that Lumiere wants to jump ship to. The big boss is glad to see Lamberg's under a competent leader, and he's down to have a chat with Vasmark himself. He's hella confident Lamberg will be welcomed on their side. But hold up, Ars ain't finished just yet. He got some questions to ask. The headman confirms the pact's legit, saying Vasmark handed it to him personally. Ars points out that Massa's headman been riding hard for Curran. So why the sudden betrayal? The big boss says betrayal's normal in wartime, but Ars keeps pushing why would Massa side with Vasmark when it leaves them surrounded. All these questions make the headman realize this whole meetup was a straight up con. He loses it and demands they arrest Ars. But then Reitz comes through, revealing himself to protect Ars. Ars explains they ain't there for a fight, so the big boss demands to know why he came. And that's when Ars shocks everyone by dropping the bomb that he brought Massa's headman to explain himself. Flashback time. Turns out it was all Rosal's idea. They showed the document to Massa's headman, and he was shocked because he never signed that damn pact. Ars asked him to write a letter for him to take to Perina's headman. But this dude was straight up furious. He's pissed off because someone forged Massa's seal, and he declares he's gonna pay a visit to Perina's headman and spill the truth himself. And that's exactly what he does. He declares he's been down with Lord Curran from the jump and will keep serving him till the bitter end. With this info on deck, The question is whether Parmina's still gonna side with Vazmark. Parina's headman wants to roll with Curran now that he knows the truth. But he wonders if Curran's gonna take them back for real. Moss's headman ain't sure, but he knows his district got a massive population to protect. He knows Parina's headman feels the same way about his peeps. The problem is the Parina headman got fooled so damn easily and never bothered to check the pack's legitimacy. Ars is straight up blown away by the Massa headman's boss vibes and realizes he needs to level up to match him. The headman gives props to Ars for shedding light on the situation and leaves the decision of Parina's acceptance up to him. Ars knows the dude got easily played, but he ain't trying to cut him off for one mistake. He knows he might be acting all naive, but he's just glad they could settle things without throwing hands. Ars steps up and declares they can be allies, and the Parina headman promises to serve his best. Ain't nothing else to talk about. So Ars gives thanks to the Massa headman for showing up. The headman shows love back and appreciates that Ars peeped through the enemy's scheme and resolved it peacefully. He's stoked to see the Kenar district has added a solid leader to its crew. Later on, Ars breaks it down for his pops. Among all the good news, Ars learns that Vazmark managed to swipe a bunch of explosion mag stones from the Parina district. Reitz and Rosal slide through, and Ars gives them props for helping him sort things out without nobody getting hurt. Reitz senses something on Ars' mind, but Ars just says he knows what he gotta do. The only problem is that it ain't gonna be easy. The headmen he just met were desperate to protect their people, and Ars wants to become a strong lord just like them. But without his crew, Ars feels like he'd be straight up powerless in this situation. Reitz reassures him, saying he got his back and they'll always be by his side. All Ars gotta do is follow his gut and do what he thinks is right. Right then, someone rolls up and says Lord Lumaire's at Raven's grave. Lumaire apologizes for taking so long to visit and says Lord Curran wants to meet with Ars. Ars is shocked because he's just a small-time territory leader, and Curran's a big shot. Ars feels unworthy, but Lumaire explains he filled Curran in on the recent drama, and Curran's interested in Ars. Ars accepts the offer and plans to get himself ready for whenever that day comes. But damn, he's caught off guard when Lumaire reveals they're heading to meet Lord Curran right now. Ars thinks it's too sudden, but his crew pumps him up and points out it's a golden chance for him to level up in the game. They give Ars some confidence, so he declares he's ready to roll. Back at the manor, Charlotte was busy picking out her dope outfit for the party Ars had planned, when this maid had to come and drop the bomb that everyone already dipped to meet Curran without her. On the carriage ride to meet Curran, Rosal asks Reitz if it was really cool to leave Charlotte behind like that. But Reitz justifies it, saying they need someone to defend Lamberg while they're gone, and besides Charlotte's bound to forgive them if they bring back a present for her. Right now, Reitz is more worried about Ars, who's been hustling non-stop since they hit the road. Ars claims he's good, but he wasn't expecting to meet Curran on such short notice. This dude could become the next big shot governor, so it's mind-boggling to Ars why he would want to meet a small-town lord like him. Just so he's in the loop, Ars asks Rosal what's the deal with the party he got invited to. Rosal breaks it down, saying Curran called in a bunch of high rollers from all over the place. Seems like he's trying to boost morale among his supporters by rubbing shoulders with them in person. Hearing that there are going to be a bunch of heavy-hitting nobles rolling through, Ars starts feeling even worse about the whole thing. But it's too late to back out now because they already arrived. Ars and the crew peep out the window and are blown away by how lit the trading city looks. It hits Ars that he's got to put in some serious work if he wants to make Lamberg as lovely as this. Reitz suggests that tonight's banquet might be the perfect chance for Ars to make a name for himself among the upper crust. Ars agrees to give it his all toward that goal. As they reach the castle, all the guests start filling up the hall, and Ars notices that all eyes are on him for some reason. None of them recognize Ars, so they think it's mad strange for a kid to be rolling solo. Ars starts getting self-conscious about it, but then he spots a familiar face across the hall and is Lumaire, who is getting treated like royalty by the other nobles. Lumaire spots Ars and tells him to join them since he's a lord too. Ars walks over, and Lumaire introduces him to the other lords as the new lord of Lamberg. A moment later, trumpets blasting to let everyone know Curran's in the house, so heads start bowing in anticipation of his arrival. Curran rolls up and gives them the word to raise their heads, and once Ars finally gets to meet the man himself, the first thing he does is check out his stats. No surprise, Curran's got some sick stats that scream leader material, so Ars gets why Lumaire and the crew ride with him. But if Curran's already this damn dope, Ars can't help but wonder how next level Vazmak must be, because the rumor's been saying he's even more badass than Curran. Curran steps up and shows love to everyone at the party for showing up. He brought them all together to give them the lowdown on the serious crisis going down in Mission City after Curran's pops passed away. Vazmak's trying to start a war with Curran, claiming he's got the right to succeed their old man, even though Curran's the rightful heir. Unfortunately, the Summerforth Empire ain't giving a damn about that drama, so they're staying out of it. Curran knows the Empire's been corrupted for ages, so he's all about tearing it down and building it back up from scratch. He swears to win this war and bring all the regions of Mission together, making it a whole new nation. He wants Mission to stand on its own as an independent territory, but he knows damn well it won't be a walk in the park. But with the support of everyone here, Curran's confident they can achieve any damn thing. He sees them as the brightest and elect peeps he could ask to ride by his side. And there's one person in particular he wants to give mad props to for their accomplishments. He calls Ars up to the front, so everyone can peep him, and Ars is straight up frozen in shock. But with a little push from Rosal and Reitz, he eventually makes his way to the front and introduces himself. Curran keeps it real with the crowd, spilling that Vazmak shamelessly forged documents to play Perina and get them on his side. But Ars peeped the game and helped bring Perina back to their side without throwing fists unnecessarily. The other fancy pants nobles can't even wrap their heads around how a young boy like Ars pulled off so much. But Curran schools them, saying age don't mean squat. It's all about the results you bring to the table. And right now, Ars got more wins than anyone else up in this joint. So Curran calls for a round of applause for the man. Ars takes the love with grace, and a while later, after spending time meeting all the other lords, Ars is straight up wiped out. He heads to the balcony to catch some much needed fresh air, and that's when he bumps into Curran. Curran been wanting a chance to chat with Ars in private, and he brings up what he heard about Ars gathering some capable vassals. He don't hear Lumiere speak so highly about just anyone. Seems like Ars ain't just smart, but he got an eye for talent too. So Curran wants to ask Ars a real honest question. He just met all the peeps serving under Curran, so he wants to know what Ars thinks of them. Ars appraises them when he first met everyone, but if he's being honest, all their abilities are pretty mid. But he ain't sure if he can straight up tell Curran that, but Curran straight up asked for the truth. So Ars spills it. He says he ain't seen anyone out there who's truly mind-blowing. So Curran asks if Ars believes his own vassals are better than Curran's, and Ars shows respect and tells him that his crew got more talent than all of Curran's people combined. Ars thought Curran might get all fired up, but he's actually feeling Ars's honest opinion. He knows his vassals are good and focused, but they ain't exactly top tier. It's making Curran realize how damn tough it's gonna be to win this war with the squad he got right now. Vazmark's side has a ton of smart and talented folks, so even if Curran got more military might and cheddar than them, it doesn't mean jack if the ones leading the war effort are straight up trash. That's why he's so relieved to hear about the moves Ars made, because it shows there's new talent on the come up. Curran got mad high hopes for Ars and even tells him that if he proves himself in battle, he gonna get rewarded with a promotion to be the new Lord of Canar. Ars can't even wrap his head around what he's hearing, so he straight up asks what's gonna go down with Lumiere if Curran makes him the new Lord of Canar. But Curran been planning all along to hook Lumiere up with a way bigger chunk of land because he's one of the few vassals Curran can actually rely on. And before Curran bounces, he has the audacity to ask Ars if he'd be down to hand over his own vassals. Ars ain't having none of that, so he flat out rejects the idea. Curran already knew Ars wouldn't go for ridiculous requests like that, but he still wants to hear from Ars and his vassals. So he wants Ars to roll with him to the War Council. And he's also looking for Ars to find some talented folks, because he can't be stuck relying on his mediocre vassals alone. That's all Curran had to say. So he dips as Ars is planning on living up to Curran's expectations. Meanwhile, in Castle Arcantes, Vazmark gets the lowdown that his deceit has been exposed, and Perina's cut ties with him. He's kinda bummed that Perina ain't gonna throw down with Lumiere, but it ain't the end of the world. His vassals tell him they already scooped up a ton of explosive magus stones from Perina. So even if the war pops off right away, Curran ain't got a chance. Curran ain't got no talented vassals by his side. And to make matters worse, his soldiers are a bunch of nobodies except for Curran himself. But Vazmark's army is stacked with skilled and powerful warriors. They think the odds of Vazmark losing are slim, but Vazmark ain't down for slim chances. He only steps into battles he knows he's gonna win for sure. So he needs his crew to make damn sure there ain't no chance of losing. By the way, he asks one of his vassals if they know where this woman named Myril is, but nobody's got a clue. And honestly, he thinks it's a bad idea to hire her anyway. She might have talent, but she's nothing more than a straight-up alcoholic now. So Vasmark agrees not to go looking for her, and he hopes nobody else goes chasing after her either. A few days later, Ars and the rest of the crew roll back to Lamberg, and they fill Charlotte in on all the craziness, including the fact that Curran wants them to join the next War Council meeting. Curran also wants Ars to help find some more talented peeps, but the old way Ars used to scout ain't gonna cut it now because he ain't got time to do it solo. Reitz throws out the idea of letting Fam handle the job. Ars thinks it's dope. So they set up a meeting and Fam agrees to take it on. But he tells Ars he doesn't want to be held accountable if he ends up finding someone that's incompetent since he doesn't have an appraisal skill like he does. Ars says there ain't gonna be no consequences if Fam fails, but if he actually finds someone legit, Ars will hook him up with a bonus of 20 gold coins. Fam's down to give it his all. So Ars and Reitz bounce from the bar and head back to the crew. But on the way, some drunk chick bumps into Ars, and he ends up eating pavement. She helps him up and says sorry, and Ars tells her he's all good as she stumbles off. Turns out she stumbles right into Fam's bar while he's getting things set up, and she straight up starts asking for a job. One of Fam's peeps comes out from the back and recognizes her as Myril, and he ain't exactly thrilled to see her. Fam asks how he knows Myril, so the dude explains they used to throw back drinks together in world bars back in the day. Myril don't really remember him, but since he's claiming to know her, she asks for his help because she's broke and got nowhere to crash. Dude shuts her down because she still owes him a ton of money from their last encounter. But Fam steps in his waitress persona and says he'd be happy to have her work there. Dude asks Fam what the hell he's thinking hiring her when she's clearly a drunkard. But Fam thinks she might be an interesting character, so he gonna handle it. As expected, Myril is trash at the job, but Fam lets it slide because he ain't hire her for her waitress skills. Once they close up shop, Fam sits down with Myril and asks her what she's been up to in her life. She explains she's a wanderer, going from place to place, enjoying good booze along the way. Fam then asks what she used to do before she became a wanderer, but Myril shuts him down, saying it's rude for a man to pry into a woman's past. Fam can't wrap his head around how she figured out he's rocking a disguise, so he straight up asks why she thinks he's a dude. And Myril breaks it down, saying that he just looks like a man to her, but she doesn't mind that he's into cross-dressing. In fact, she thinks he's pretty cute. So she's down to spill a bit about her own story. She and her dumbass brother used to work for some old dude, but she heard rumors that the old man's 6 feet under now, and it got her feeling real sad. Fam's curious about what this old man was like, so Myril starts talking about how he could be scatterbrained at times, but overall he was one hell of an interesting person. He believed in her and her bro, even when they were dirt poor. His name was Amador Salamakia, and that's the former Duke of Mission, the pops of Curran and Vasmark. Fam's guy thinks she's gotta be lying, but Fam keeps listening and starts believing she's speaking the truth. So he lets her know he's got a better job for her. Right then Fam sends a letter to Ars, telling him he's found a real talented individual. Ars is straight up shocked by how fast Fam pulled it off. He wasted no time and already sent the lady over. So everyone heads to the front door to meet her. Reitz swings open the door, and Fam greets them saying he's brought the woman. He introduces Myril to Ars. Ars recognizes her as the one who bumped into him earlier, but Myril's already forgotten all about him. When Fam told her about the job opportunity, it piqued her interest. So she asks Ars if he's willing to hire her, and after taking a peek at her stats, Ars is straight up terrified because she's an absolute genius. Fam says that she used to work with the Duke, so Ars is impressed by her, but Reitz knows about her reputation and warns Ars that her brother Thomas is working with Lord Vasmark. She says she ain't cool with him, but Reitz ain't buying it and tells Ars not to bring her on board. But Ars decides to make her his vassal anyway because he knows she's got mad skills. The next day, Reitz starts bitching about Myril's behavior, saying she ain't cut out to be a vassal because she's always slacking off, even bouncing from work to nap in her room. He thinks she's a lost cause and tells Ars to straight up fire her. Rosal jumps in out of nowhere, saying he don't want Myril teaching him because she told him to stop studying and made him run instead. He thinks her methods are whack and she's straight up crazy. Ars tries to defend her, but then they hear a big ass explosion, and everyone loses their shit, thinking they're getting attacked. But turns out it's Charlotte causing the ruckus because Myril asked her to show off her powers. Ars tells everyone to chill, but he realizes they're all pissed off, and we find out they hate Myril because she's making their lives tough. But she tells them to accept her for who she is, and Ars warns her to straighten up or he'll have to take action. She explains that she don't want to leave because Ars is the only one who accepted her for who she is. So she realizes she gotta find a way to get along with the crew. She suggests a mock battle, saying if she wins, they gotta let her stay. Ars ain't feeling it, but Reitz wants to see what she's made of, so he agrees to throw down with her. Ars rounds up his crew, but he's surprised when Lisha shows up, saying she wants to peep the mock battle. He lays out the rules, saying they'll split into 2 teams and fight it out in the eastern forest till sundown. To win, they gotta capture the enemy commander or wipe out the other team. And Ars adds that if a soldier gets hit in the head or chest, they're out of the game. Charlotte's wondering if she can bust out some magic, so Ars tells her she can't sling fire spells because they're too damn destructive. Instead, he hands her magic potions and she realizes she can only use light and sound magic in the game. Ars is about to split everyone into 2 groups, but he notices that nobody wants to team up with Myril because they all want to see her lose. One soldier says Myril's gonna get fired if she loses, so he suggests letting the newbies join her side. The soldiers start arguing, but Myril doesn't give a damn, and they think she's low, so they all want to get rid of her. Then we see Reitz's crew in the woods, and Charlotte says they're way stronger than the enemy team, but she thinks Myril is badass, so they shouldn't underestimate her. Rosal is their commander, and we find out he's scared of the girls, but he tells Reitz to give it his all. Ars is the commander of Myril's crew, and we see it's filled with newbies. He knows they're in deep shit and thinks Reitz is gonna wreck them. Myril thinks Reitz is a badass fighter and knows Charlotte's magic is off the charts. She's impressed that Ars was able to spot their talents. She mentions her soldiers are weak, so they get upset. But she tells them she's just speaking the truth, and she's confident they're still gonna win. She knows they ain't feeling her, but she's got a plan and convinces them to roll with it. Reitz's squad sets up traps in the forest, and he lays out their battle plan. He knows Myril's crew can't take them head on, so they'll likely go for sneak attacks to gain the upper hand. He suggests hitting them head on, with him leading half the soldiers up front, while Rosal's crew follows from behind. He believes Myril will try to capture Rosal, so he tells him to unleash sound magic as soon as they get ambushed, so they can surround the enemies. He tells everyone to stay cool and remember they got the advantage, so they decide to follow his plan. As Reitz leads his crew to patrol the area, they suddenly hear a big-ass explosion, realizing someone fell right into their trap. They haul ass to the scene and spot a mage from Myril's crew. Homeboy spills that he wants to backstab Myril and spills the deets on her plan. He explains she's onto their game, so she's scheming to lure Reitz's crew into a trap, leaving them helpless when she strikes Rosal. But Reitz ain't trusting the kid, thinking Ars would never go for that plan. So the kid comes clean, saying he was lying. Myril wanted him to fake a betrayal, but deep down, he hates her and wants her to lose. He spills the real deal on Myril's battle plan to Reitz's crew. She's planning to surround them after she lures them to a specific spot. The kid mentions she'll make her move after he busts out some sound magic, but Reitz still ain't buying it, so he orders the kid to hand over his wand. Kid agrees, but then Reitz switches it up and tells his crew to capture him. Kid asks Reitz why he's doing this, so Reitz explains he finds him sketchy. One soldier peeps that he's hiding another wand. Reitz asks him if he planned to use it for sound magic, and he tries to deny it. But Reitz gets all up in his face, intimidating him, and the kid starts sweating and admitting to it. Reitz thinks the enemy's still waiting for the signal, so he plans to hit them from behind. He leads his crew around the woods and spots a group of enemy soldiers posted nearby. They launch a sneak attack, only to realize the soldiers are all damn decoys. Myril reveals it all went down as planned, telling the kid his acting was on point. Reitz asks her why she's rolling solo with Ars, reminding her all they need to do is capture him for victory. But she's confident she can escape and starts carrying Ars, challenging them to catch her if they can. Reitz gives the order to attack, and they start hunting her down. We peep Lisha and the crew cheering, and Ars is thinking they are about to get busted, but Myril tells him to relax, ain't no need to worry. Reitz is hell-bent on winning, but his crew suddenly trips over some damn traps. They all fall right into them, even Reitz, but Homeboy bounces back quick. He charges through the other traps like a beast, so Myril busts out her sound magic. They all left dumbfounded, wondering where the hell Myril disappeared to. But Reitz manages to spot her. He keeps on chasing her, and Myril notices they ain't gotten the signal yet. Meanwhile, Lisha gets all jealous because Ars holding hard onto Myril, so she starts cheering for Reitz to come out on top. we catch a glimpse of Rosal's crew, and Charlotte's wondering if they should regroup with Reitz, but out of nowhere, they get found by Ars's soldiers, who go ahead and activate their signal. Rosal peeps that it's only half of Ars's soldiers, so he figures they got the upper hand in a fair fight. He gives the order to attack, and Ars's soldiers know they ain't as strong. But they remember Myril talking about how the other soldiers called them weak, so they think it's time to teach them a lesson. More of their soldiers pop up, encircling Rosal's crew completely, and the fight begins. Charlotte dips out with Rosal, using sound magic to escape the soldiers. But this gives away their location to Myril. Reitz is wondering why the hell Rosal's nearby, and we see Charlotte got caught up in her own damn magic. Rosal keeps on running, and we learn that Myril's objective wasn't just to mess with Reitz and split him from his crew, but it was to find a way to nab Rosal. Reitz realizes what they are after, but Myril speeds up the pace. Reitz is able to keep up, thinking about how Ars saved him and promised to stay by his side. He's determined to be the most loyal guardian to Ars, so he ain't losing to Myril. Ars start feeling dizzy, but Myril spots Rosal coming their way, and Reitz is about to catch them, but Ars throws his sound magic right at him. Myril gets ready to unleash her attack on Rosal, and Reitz ain't backing down. But damn, Myril lands the hit first, and Reitz admits he got beat. Ars steps up and declares Myril the winner, and all her soldiers start celebrating. The veteran soldiers start whining about their dirty tricks, but Reitz says there ain't nothing unfair in a battle, so they gotta accept the outcome. He still ain't feeling Myril's attitude, but he recognizes her skills and hopes to learn from her in the future. Ars is worried about Myril messing up the mood, but she tells Reitz he was freaking incredible, and she points out that Rosal's strategy to split up was the right move. She thinks things about to get real interesting and gives props to Ars for having such badass retainers, wondering what his plans are. He mentions how he just wants a place where everyone can be happy, so she realizes he doesn't want a world with war, so she thinks he's gonna have to become king to make that happen. Ars is shocked by what she's saying, but she tells him he got what it takes. They all throw a feast to celebrate the success of the mock battle, and Myril outdrinks everyone. The soldiers ask her to teach them, but she says they already getting the best training from Reitz, so she ain't got nothing to teach them. Rosal figures he gotta work on his stamina, thinking they coulda won if he ran faster. He always thought his tactics were enough because he the strategist, but Myril tells him if he gets caught or dies on the battlefield, more soldiers gonna bite the dust, so the dude gotta be able to stay alive. Rosal is pumped to get stronger, but then Charlotte bumps into him, and Myril tells her to fire spells at him to help him run faster. Ars happy to see everyone getting along with Myril, but he thinking about what she said about becoming king. Reitz comes up to him and apologizes for losing the mock battle. Ars tells him it's cool, but he remembers his promise to Raven and feels ashamed of failing. Ars tells him he still got faith in him, and Reitz swears to train twice as hard. Ars wondering about what Myril said, but Reitz says he feeling the same way. Ars thinking about his dream of a world without war where everyone happy, and Reitz promises to stick by his side and help him make it happen. This was the end of Season 1. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more anime recaps.